This review consists of two kits for the Liebherr LR and LG 1750 cranes. Kit 99922 is the wind plant jib, and 99921 is the boom reducer sections. Both kits really go together to convert the base models into wind turbine erection cranes. The packaging of both kits is very simple, it's just plain boxes with foam rubber inserts, and there's no instructions with either kit. The jib kit consists of a couple of sections with lift heads, and there's also a bag of bolts. The reducer sections come as a separate kit and there are two pieces. And there's a bag of parts which has got bolts, some suspension bars, and the parts to make a midpoint connection between the suspension bars and the boom, and we'll see that later. We'll fit these parts to an LR 1750 crawler crane, which is shown here in its heavy lift configuration. We'll start at the jib head end, and it's a pivoting connection, so it's only bolted at the top. And the bolting system is the standard Conrad plastic bolts. They usually fit well enough, but sometimes you have to use a flat-headed screwdriver to push them home. And when you've done that, you've got a pivoting connection, which is to stop all of the weight of the boom landing on the tip when it's on the ground. Next, we'll fit the jib head to what was the top of the luffing boom on the base crane. And again, it's a simple bolted connection. Next, we'll turn to the boom reducer sections, and they can just be bolted together in the normal way. And if you do that, you can create a section which can join onto the jib head that we've already made. But because we're going to build up a long boom, we don't need the section with the Liebherr nameplates on it. So in fact, all we need is the larger of the two reducer sections, and the first thing we need to do here is to put some special clips onto the end of the reducer section. These will be used to make a special connection with the suspension bars, which are designed to limit the deflection of the boom on the real machine. With those clips in place, we can join the reducer section and the remaining parts of the top of the boom. So to see how far we've got, here is the top of the main boom on the base model, and here is the rest of the boom that we've now built up. And now you can see here that the reducer section from the kit will be replacing the top of the main boom. So with no more to be said, it's off with its head. And now we can just join up to get the full length main boom that we want. There's no rigging diagram with the kits, but the main thing to watch out for when you're making up the suspension bars is that there's a connection just above the brackets that you've attached to the reducer boom. And to do that, I'm using a couple of the short sections from the base model just to get the right length. And now things get a little bit more fiddly, particularly for anybody challenged with overweight fingers. And that's because we need to fit the special brackets, which are joined with a chain, to the junction of the suspension bars. And once you've done that, you can add the suspension cables that join the brackets. So to make it easier to see, I'll climb up the boom and do it in the air. Two separate lengths of suspension cable are supplied, so here we're using the longer length. They come ready-made with loops at each end, and at the suspension bar brackets they just hook over. With the two cables fitted, the last thing to do is to attach the loops to the brackets on the boom. And that's a simple connection mechanism, it's just a small Conrad plastic bolt that goes through the loop and through the bracket. The tip of the real wind plant jib is rated at 120 tonnes, so the hooks that come with a base model are too large. So I'm going to rig the crane with Conrad part 99904, which is still a bit big, but it will look better. So here is the crane fully rigged, and it's just got a single straight boom. And in this configuration it reaches a very impressive 7'6" or nearly 2.3 metres in height. As we go up the boom, there's the reducer section, and then we follow the narrower boom sections up to the wind plant jib at the top. In terms of detail, the boom sections are very nicely made and very straight, and there are plastic pulleys, and right at the tip there are plastic rollers. The reducer sections are well made, and the mid-boom suspension system is very good. One issue is that the kits are in Liebherr yellow, so if you have a different coloured crane you might want to get the paint spray out. Well, if you thought you could hear the paint spray there, I'm sorry, you're wrong, it was just me making a silly noise. In terms of features, one of the possibilities is just to use the parts as suitable transport loads, as long as you've got the right kind of trucks. But the real strength comes in the different configuration options that are possible, and a variety of boom length and jib head combinations can be made. The kits are well made, just like the base models, and if you can afford the price, then they're highly recommended.